Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. In just a moment, I am going to head my happy butt over to the futon to check out the Netflix original, Jingle Bell Heist. Jingle Bell Heist is directed by Michael Feminari, and it's starring Olivia Holt, Connor Swindles, and Lucy Punch. It tells the story of two strangers who decide that they are going to rob the largest retailer in London on Christmas. Holy cow, what horrible people. What Grinches are these? But don't worry, folks, in keeping with the old Hallmark Christmas tradition, these two might just fall in love along the way. Oh yeah, committing crimes and falling in love. Now that is the Christmas spirit I'm talking about. Now this movie is the continuing series that I just started this year, where I am going to try to watch all of the Christmas movies I possibly can on the streaming services, TV channels, in theaters, what have you. And then what I'm going to do, this is something new that I've decided, is I am going to also, around Christmas Eve-ish, or maybe a little bit before, I'm going to do a ranking video on all of the Christmas movies that I've done. Now this ranking video is not going to be part of my usual ranking videos I do for all my different months and such out of the year. This is a fun little thing that I'm doing, and I'm doing this because some of you may know that my mother passed away in May, and Christmas was one of her favorite holidays. Her two big faves were Halloween and Christmas. So this is my first Christmas where my mom's not around, and one of the things that she absolutely loved doing every year was watching Christmas movies, specifically the old Hallmark Christmas movies. You know, the one where the big city gal moves to the country, finds the love of her life, and then lives happily ever after making baby food or whatever the case may be. That's actually a movie that was actually came out in the 80s that wasn't a Christmas movie, but I digress. Anyways, this is just what I'm doing in honor of her, doing these different Christmas videos and all. So today I am reviewing Jingle Bell Heist on Netflix. So you know what? It is enough of me sitting here jabbering on. It is time for me to get my holly jolly merry butt over to the futon, because as always, my faithful movie companion Haku is patiently waiting on me, and I don't want to keep him waiting anymore because he gets very impatient. So it's time for me to head over there and check out Jingle Bell Heist. Just getting done watching Jingle Bell Heist, and you know what, guys? I liked this movie a lot more than I thought I was. Now, before I get things started, I just want to talk about my kids' Christmas decorations just real quick. There's a couple of my decorations in my collection that I want to talk about at the end of the video. They're very meaningful to me and my family, but then also to just the aesthetic that my wife and I are going for right now. Now, I've heard that on the old Tic Tacs that everyone's talking about something called the Ralph Lauren Christmas. I don't know who the guy is, but we decided that we're going for a Little Debbie Christmas, if you couldn't tell. We are just going to decorate our house in Little Debbie snack cakes, the Christmas tree variety. Now, if you're not from the States and you have no idea what the Christmas tree cake is, this is a traditional American snack cake that dates back hundreds of years and has been part of the Christmas tradition here in the United States for an extremely long time. All households have these cakes in them, and it's also customary to leave these cakes on each other's doorsteps as just a symbol of hospitality. This is all a bunch of BS. I'm just completely making this up off the top of my head. We just like the damn snack cakes. But anyways, guys, let's get into this movie, shall we? The first thing we're doing, we're going to get things started with some negatives, then move into the positives to end the video on the ever so important high note. Now, the first thing about this movie, in all honesty, it does have have a very silly vibe to the movie. And not necessarily a bad thing in some points, but one thing that I think really made this movie really overly silly was, strangely enough, the musical score of this movie. The score of this film really gives it a goofy, cartoony vibe in some parts, and not that the film is even going for that. Yes, there is some goofball, silly moments in this film, but it really is trying to play itself fairly straight and be a little bit more of a serious heist film with Christmas elements and all, which we'll get into in the positives, but it does have a little bit of silly humor attached to it, and the thing that really sets it out is that musical score. Now, I'm not talking about songs and all that are chosen to be in the movie, like different pop songs and all for the soundtrack. I'm talking about the score itself. Now, there are some moments where it just kind of has a traditional Christmas vibe going to it, but then some points it just seems like we're watching a cartoon with like wah, 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 wah kind of moments, and it just kind of takes you out of the film a little bit, relying way too much on that goofy holiday silliness. But other than that, this is a solid film. This movie delivers in a lot of areas. There are some really genuinely laugh out loud moments. There's some very sincere things. The characters are really great, really well fleshed out. This film itself has a lot to offer. So let's just go ahead and get into those positives. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is that this film does have a very quirky, silly, comedy vibe to it. It's more of a 50-50. Now, with these kind of reviews for Christmas, one of the things I wanted to say was how Christmas is involved in the film. How Christmassy is this movie? There's two schools of belief when it comes to Christmas movies. One is that Christmas itself has to take full front. Things about Christmas have to be big elements about the movie. Like things like the last movie I watched, Merry Xmas, very drenched in Christmas. Christmas was a big part of the entire movie and all. In this film, I would say it's more of a 50-50. 50% legitimate heist film done by very normal people, and the other 50% a Christmas film. It just happens to be a movie that takes place at Christmas. This movie doesn't necessarily have Christmas at its core. It doesn't have to take place during Christmas. It just happens to take place during Christmas. So whatever your definition of a Christmas movie is, there you go. This film is a definite 50-50 Christmas versus normal movie, heist film, I guess you could say. There's also a lot of really great chemistry in this cast, and an actual believable romance, not just something that seems kind of whatever tossed into one of these films just to kind of make some wine moms in Minnesota happy. This film actually has a very decent chemistry and a good romance at its core. Olivia Holt and Connor Swindles actually have some great chemistry together. They're both acting really well. They're very good actors. Their characters are very well fleshed out. This film is also really drenched in Christmas. Even though the film doesn't have Christmas as a main theme of it, everywhere you go is Christmas. And the cinematography does a really great job of showing it off. I thought the cinematography of this film was really good. There's some really great tracking shots that are used when they're in the store and all, and some really good one shots also. A lot of other great elements go into this. As I said, the acting, the chemistry, and all. The film itself has a really fun, hopeful vibe to it. Even though crime is at its core, it's not necessarily bad people. Each one of our characters have very good, solid reasons for what they're doing. So what they're doing actually is more or less making their characters likable. You don't necessarily mind that they're robbing from the guy they're robbing from. Just put it that way. So all in all, guys, I am really happy to have said that I got to sit down with this movie. My wife actually got done with work a little bit early, so she was able to sit down and watch this movie with me, and I would have to say that this is a really fun sit down with your significant other during the holidays, have a good time, watch a fun little film that actually has a pretty decent little heist element to it, with a nice little twist at its end, and a decent romance with likable characters. So honestly, it's on Netflix. This is not a half bad film to check out. It's only going to cost you your time. So thanks again, guys, for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe. Oh, I almost forgot. I was going to talk about my decorations real quick. I just got so soaked in on this. Okay, so the first one I want to point out is the little Christmas tree back here, the ceramic Christmas tree. That was actually my great-grandmother's, and I just absolutely loved looking at that for when I was a kid. I would just stare at it and just thought it was beautiful, all the colors and all. And that's one of the old originals. That's just not one of those things that you find at Cracker Barrel in the country store, all right, at your local Michael's or something. That's the real deal, baby. And then sitting next to it, to the best of my knowledge, this guy... Let's bring him over so you can get a closer look. This little guy right here is a little Santa Claus, and this comes from Hallmark Cards. Now, some of you might not know, but Hallmark Cards is located here in Kansas City. They are pretty much, well, they created Kansas City, let's just put it that way. They are one of our main companies that's founded here. So I guess that makes we're the home of Crayolas also. Well, this guy, this Santa Claus, to the best of my knowledge, is considered the first decoration, the first Christmas decoration that Hallmark ever made. And I don't know the exact year, but I do know that it's on display if you go to the Hallmark Visitor Center up at the Crown Center. It's a shopping mall here in Kansas City. Well, anyways, they have one of these guys on display. And apparently it's pretty rare to find them with the candle intact. Most people burn down this candle. I was told at one point in time it smelled like peppermint. Now it smells like wax because I think this freaking thing is, like I said, it was back in the 60s, so it's old. It's an old Santa Claus. But this was another one that I absolutely loved from my childhood. And what's crazy is that in this wax here, there are actual little marks where I went through it with my little fingernails and kind of peeled a little bit off because I thought it felt neat under my fingernails. Then I got hollered at by my mom. But yes, this is one of my favorites. This and my ceramic tree back there, two of my all-time favorite Christmas decorations that I have in my Christmas collection. So, okay, guys, now we're at the end of the video. So thanks again for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you could do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.